favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, let's go right into the public meeting, or to the council meeting. Hereby call this meeting to order, Monday, July 7th, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please. Michelle.
Bruce Stickle.
Present.
Dan Schomer.
Present.
Doug Humphrey.
Present.
Dan Verbeck.
Present.
Jody Lee. Present. Karen Wilson.
Present.
Mr. Stepp, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jeez. Council meeting minutes of June 16th. All of you have a copy of those. Are there any additions or corrections or changes? Hearing none, would there be a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written. Second motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Administrator's report. Steve.
Just primarily the updates on the budgeting process. We'll cover it a little bit, I think, when we get down to that agenda item, but there have been committee meetings in which there is in particular one change that we'll talk about in more detail for the police department. That's all.
Okay. That's it? Yep, that's it, Steve?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Had a lot of meetings in the last 2 or 3 weeks. A motion to approve Steve's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrator's report.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve his report. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Inspector's report. Rob is here. Tell us what's happening, Rob.
Well, he had a good month.
Oh, Bruce, yeah, I just see that.
Yeah, you see, he's got this new report here that outlines everything that what was permitted, what was done, if there was siding, building, materials, windows, whatever, water heater. Like he told me, he can't quite get the computer to put the permit number on it, but that's not really that important right now, permit number. As long as we can see who had it done, what was done, and what the fee was, then that permit number's kind of miscellaneous, that's the problem. But I'm gonna turn it over to Rob and tell you that he's got things going on with Pine View Apartments and that's still in the process of working on getting their water and sewer and a couple more places that Rob wants to mention.
Okay.
So yeah, we had a pretty typical July, busy month. Like Bruce said, the last part of your inspector's report where it says work completed is where it tells kind of what the work that was done, a basic description. I was not able to get the permit number on that, but the address is there so you could match it up to the permits issued if you wanted to take the time to do that. Still a learning process with the new software, so hopefully one of these days I'll have it figured out all in one report. But yeah, we closed out 2 of our new builds and did final inspections on those, so those have occupants in them now.
Okay,
And
good.
then we still have one in Conservancy that's ongoing. Taking a little longer to make decisions than they anticipated, so slow process. The project up on Hillcrest Road, the Pine View Apartments that we've talked about before, they're still in the planning process for that. So hopefully one of these days in the near future, that one will have a permit issued. We'll get going on that. And then we also have the one downtown, the townhomes that they're in the planning process.
They're still in planning?
Yep, still with the architecture, putting it
Are
together.
they? Good.
So
Okay.
hopefully that one will be coming soon. And then the Animal Aid Humane Society over by the trampoline park. I'm thinking probably mid to late this month, they'll start construction there. So, yeah, a lot going on.
A lot going on. That's good. That's good. What we look for.
Okay, anybody else have a question they want to ask the building inspector or anything? If not, then I'll make a motion to approve the building inspector's report.
Second.
Motion made, second to approve Inspector's report, any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion? I'm sorry, you made the motion. Have a voice vote, please. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Thanks, Bruce and Ron. Please, I got my police report next. How about you, Chris? How's everything with you?
Good. So back on June 3rd, we had the storm that kind of blew through. We ended up having 5 officers come in as extra officers. When it initially hit, thought it was going to be worse than what it ended up. So we were able to get someone to come in. I came in for a little while as well, not like I was really going to help by staying out of the way maybe. But it worked out for the best. They were able to kind of help sort through the calls that were coming in.
Good.
And then, I don't remember the last date, I know it was sometime in June, but I believe it's been 4 separate times this year we've worked with Steve Gibson's guys at the street department, basically filling up dump trucks or garbage trucks with all the garbage campsites left behind by some of the homeless under the bridges and other places around town. I'm working right now trying to put together a public camping ordinance that I can present to you at some point to hopefully try and combat some of this, but.
This is for homeless camping under the
Right.
bridges and places?
Well,
Wherever.
different places.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're not unique with this. I talked to the chiefs in the other communities,
Yeah.
and everybody deals with
Got the same thing.
So,
Gotta go to San Diego.
but yeah, so everybody has to live somewhere, and so some people choose to live outside. The unfortunate thing is when they leave behind a bunch of garbage or they're somewhere they're not supposed to be. So we've kind of worked with that. Other than that, over the weekend, I think we came out fairly unscathed. Not anything unexpected, I should say, from the 4th of July.
Fireworks, I had one email about fireworks. They were shooting them off in a couple of areas.
Yeah.
You gotta catch them in the act of doing it,
Well,
tell them that.
I looked through and going back to July 1st through the 5th, I found 11 calls for fireworks.
Okay.
Was it. So either they were classified as something else, or we just did not receive the phone calls.
Yeah.
So
We've got,
I would tell people that, and who knows, this next weekend may continue on with celebrations and whatever's left over. I would say that a way that I kind of came up to think about it is compare it to speeding. Some people think speeding is okay and it's not a big deal. Others, it's a big deal.
big deal.
You can get hurt speeding, you can get hurt with fireworks. But in the end, when the police show up, it's gonna end up the same way,
Yeah.
with a ticket and a fine.
Yeah.
And that's how we're gonna resolve it. So until, and I had one individual I was communicating with by email as well, and what I told them was until the fines and penalties are stiffer, the problem is probably gonna continue.
Yeah.
And then we have them available right across the river or up on top of the hill.
Right, right.
We'll do our best, but if someone thinks they can do much better, then I will say we advertised for new officer applicants and we had 0 applications. So if somebody knows someone that thinks they can do a better job, they need to start filling out some applications because we're gonna have some retirements coming up next couple of years. So they can have at it.
I agree. You get complaints from a lot of people, but,
That's all I got.
Chris,
go ahead, Karen.
has the Harvest Fest group talked to you yet?
So the group putting on the festival has talked to me about the officers. We have similar situations we had last year. It's going to work out pretty well, staffing wise. So that's what we're going to go with again this year. And then I did talk to someone from the parade, and they are pretty much set on doing the same route that they've been doing for numerous years.
Yeah.
So,
Is there gonna be a parade? I haven't heard anything about it yet. Have you heard anything?
Michelle, have they contacted you?
They have not.
You have contact?
That have not.
They have not.
So we need to get their proof of insurance.
Well, sure.
They are going
If-
to have a parade.
Okay, I haven't
That
heard.
they're
well,
advertising.
I know they have one more meeting the beginning of August, I believe, that they invited me to as well. And I don't know if they reached out to you yet,
Oh, yeah.
talked about it, so.
Okay.
Okay.
They need to get a permit to do it, so we know what's
It's
happening, so
July.
planning can be done, yes.
Yeah,
Certainly.
that's all I
Okay,
have.
okay, thank you. How did the Royal Ball run go? Was there any-
Good.
I didn't hear anything.
No
My
problems.
only problem is I couldn't pull the trigger on the starter gun.
Yeah.
He had that set,
That-
he thinks that I'm gonna pull it by accident. I couldn't have pulled that thing, but I had to get both hands on it.
Yeah, the time of day that happens
Yeah,
on the weekend,
that's right.
you know, for us, from our standpoint, traffic-wise, things like that, we're not gonna have a lot of issues with that. It's early enough in the day that
Good, okay,
it doesn't present any problems.
okay. Motion to approve Chris's
What
report.
so I guess, what are
Go ahead.
you gonna do, Kevin, next?
Well, I was gonna get to his, do we usually,
No, it's all good.
we do them all
all
together?
together.
I'm sorry. I'm a little spoiled this thing, I'm sorry about that. Okay, thank you, Chris. Who's next? Kevin, you wanna go? I'll leave you for
Sure.
last, Steve.
We had a pretty good month. We did have a water inspection. Our EPA walked through our water plants, and they always find a few little things. Several of our chemical storage tanks needed containment, which is something they've talked about through the years. So, and they've been in place probably 10 years, 12 years, so they actually need to be replaced. So we'll probably look at a double wall tank as opposed to trying to fit some kind of tub that's gonna hold the contents. So that'll be something that'll be coming up. I'll need to get a letter back to them in the next week or two as far as how we're gonna handle those things. We did have a sewer committee meeting, and we talked about several items, the Rainbow Ridge Water Main Extension, the process, or the progress of the wastewater plant, and also, at some point, we'll be discussing water rates. I did get all the lead and copper samples collected for this round. They bumped our number up to 40 every 6 months now. And that's part of the lead service line inventory that we have to go through. So every community has had to increase their sampling. But as we go through and get those replaced, in the coming years, those numbers will go down. Right now, we only have about 16 that are identified, but we know there's a few more down here, especially downtown area. The lower, pardon me?
Did I fail?
No, you did fine.
Did I? I'm a case.
There
It's an
were
old
two,
house.
there were two homes that one was right on the, what they call the MCL, or maximum contaminant level. That one was right on, and then there was one that was over. And again, those were two lead service lines, so we'll be looking at that and informing them. That's part of the process the EPA has us go through. Other than that, it was pretty much a normal month. Sludge to the landfill and jetted a few sewers.
Everything's going on?
Yeah.
Take care of it.
Keep
Okay.
flushing.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Steve?
We had a kind of a busy month. Of course, we had the storm that Chris talked about.
Yeah.
I was able to keep the overtime hours down to about 13. We came in that night, got everything off the streets, put it to the boulevards, and then we spent about 250 man hours cleaning up. So that took a good portion of the month. And other than that, we did some maintenance around City Hall, a couple of the pump stations, set up for the Royal Ball Run. And after our last meeting, we had comments about flooding, so we actually went around the whole town and cleaned all the catch basins out and seen if we had any issues. We
we found a few issues where we gotta replace catch basins, but, that number's probably just gonna keep going up. So,
Well-
we're trying to fix them as we get them.
Yeah, as you get them in. You guys did a wonderful job with the cleanup. My street was hit kind of hard, and a lot of compliments how you guys took care of it, and well, my yard was loaded too, so.
Yeah,
but
we
you guys-
pretty much worked that whole week
Yeah.
cleaning up, and then I gave people the weekend to get anything, because a lot of people had stuff in their back.
Yeah.
And it's like,
There were extras that
can't really-
hadn't got out.
I had my guys pretty much go right up to the front door
Yeah.
and get whatever they could off. If it was on the house or on a car, I said, leave that. We
Yeah.
don't need to get liability there, but take anything you can get.
You did a good job. Do you agree? Anybody here?
Oh, yeah.
Comments? Very, very good.
Thank you.
did. We have emergencies like that, and we do the best we can. Anything else? Any questions from the trustees to any of the department heads?
No.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for fixing that manhole cover over by the Grumman. You could almost drive
Oh, yeah. That was,
Gotcha.
yeah.
the.
We got several more.
And the person knows it's fixed now, so.
Good, good. Okay, would there be a motion to approve the department head reports?
I make a motion that we approve the department heads' reports.
For a second?
So I'll second.
Did you say?
No, we forgot Jeannie.
Oh, and Gene, you need a seat up here.
Hold that motion down. I'm sorry, Jeannie.
I'll hold my motion, you go ahead, Gene.
Okay, go ahead, Jeannie. Tell us.
No, I don't really have too much. I
Okay.
mean, we've just been busy, but I will say that the Rock Island Milan School District has been using our facility quite a bit for meetings. And next week, they're going to have an active shooter training meeting at our facility. So
That's good.
sad, but
Yeah.
interesting. So that'll be 2 days next
Yeah.
week. And then, other than that,
What's going on? We're moving on.
every weekend,
Okay.
something going on. This weekend, we didn't have anything, so it was a nice break. But
Yeah,
pretty much every weekend.
you got every weekend something, but, okay, all right, okay. Now, any more questions? Hearing none, could we have that motion
Yeah,
again?
now I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry.
That we approve the department heads' reports as given.
Was there a second?
Second.
Oh, okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the department head reports. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. I'm a little bit off today. I've had some health issues this week. I'm a little bit shaky, so forgive me or not, I really don't care which way.
That's the best for talking there.
I'm just, had some problems lately, so appreciate your consideration with that. Indulgence, that's the better word. See, I can't even get a word out, but, okay, semi-monthly and monthly bills. Doug, take it away.
All right, the bills for this pay period, regular payables are in the amount of $106,963.21. That includes a $39 credit memo. The top 5 highest bills are Blick and Blick Oil Company for gas and diesel, $20,559.78. Primary Arms for officer weapons purchases, $17,683.70. Mid-American Energy, gas and electricity, $15,665.21. Testing Service Corporation for site borings is, I don't know, was that for?
Wastewater treatment plant.
Was it? Yeah, I assumed it was. For $6,300. And Trees Are Us, I thought that's nice. Trees Are Us, QC for cutting down and cleaning up, hauling away trees in the amount of $4,000. Are there any out of the others that there's any question on?
Approved anyway, there's no problem with it.
If not, I'd make a motion that we approve the paying our bills in the amount of $106,963.21.
Okay,
Second that motion.
second motion. Motion made and seconded to make payment of those semi-monthly and monthly bills. Any other discussion, question? Hearing none, the motion was made and seconded, so we'll have a roll call vote on the question, please.
Dan Schomer,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
Yeah.
Jody Lee.
Yes.
Karen Wilson.
Yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Motion carried. We can pay the bills. Thank you very much. Item 8, consideration of ordinance to amend the village code regarding gaming machines. Lincoln's been working on this. We right now, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 17 machines?
17.
17, right, Michelle? Okay. Okay, go ahead, Lincoln, tell me.
Well, so at the last meeting, we talked about, the Illinois Municipal League had a model ordinance for dealing with these types of machines. So I put together an ordinance that follows kind of what they had. And it's somewhat lengthy.
Don't read it.
But I won't read the whole thing. There are a couple provisions in here that I'm going to direct you to and kind of make sure we're all on the same page, because they kind of had fill in the blanks and I guessed at a few of them. So one of the qualifications on this for a license, and this is as written, would be that the establishment has been in operation for at least 12 months at the time the application was filed. So, a lot of this is aimed at not having places pop up just to be video game places. It's, with an idea that you want to support existing businesses in town, restaurants and things that you probably want around, rather than just exclusively video games. So that is one way that I think they attempted to deal with it. We could strike that. You could make it shorter. You can be whatever your pleasure is. But that's, as I have it right now, it's 12 months that they should be in business when they file an application for the gaming machines.
Let's do that right now. What do you think of that kind of provision? Is that a problem with anybody?
So you're not
Would you
saying,
grant, go ahead.
you're not putting a moratorium on it, you're saying they need to be.
Well, there's more to the ordinance.
There's more of these type of things in here. So, that is one provision that I don't know what your thoughts are exactly on that specific one.
Of course, if you're presently operating, that would,
Right.
yeah, it's
This would be-
henceforth.
Right.
This covers what you're saying is they opened a business a month ago and they got it going, but then they want to have gaming and that popped up real quick.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
we've had several of those.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
And there are some other things in here that kind of steer it away from the specific just gaming machine business. And maybe it would help to go through some of the others, and you guys can kind of tell me which of these things you
Yeah,
want
go
or
ahead.
don't.
That's
and
probably a
we
good
can-
idea.
Probably a good idea.
So the other one was, it takes into consideration the percentage of revenues. So to have the license, you can put a threshold in here, and we just threw in 33%, that, at least 66% of your revenue of your business has to come from other sources.
Other than the gaming machine.
Other than the gaming machines. So if 2/3 of your business is just gaming machines, you wouldn't qualify for it, and that would be a violation of the ordinance. They have a blank. So I threw in 33. 33 is not necessarily the right number, it's whatever you guys want. So that's one threshold they have in here.
Okay.
Another one, let's see, I don't want to miss anything. And they have the seats. We talked about this before. So, and this was in here, we have it at 5 seats. So the establishment must maintain customer seating outside of the gaming area, but within the premises at a ratio of at least 5 seats for each permitted video gaming terminal. So that you're not having, again, an exclusive gaming operation.
We would have several.
Suburban restaurants.
Several would be in non-compliance with that. The restaurants, bars would be okay, but the ones specifically meant for, as we know, gaming.
You're talking about total seats in a restaurant or in the gaming area?
The whole
It
establishment.
would be the whole establishment.
Whole
That there's,
Yeah.
5
for every
seats?
terminal, there's 5 seats
Yeah.
in the
So,
bar or
6
restaurant.
terminals, 5 seats, 30. Okay, I see what you're saying, okay.
Makes sense?
That puts a limit on it.
Yeah, it slows down.
And that's our intent here, is to put a limit on the new establishments.
And then there are the outright limitations. So it has the provision in here, there shall be no more than blank establishments licensed to operate video game terminals in the village at any time.
My
Throw a
preference-
number in there.
My preference would be 17, that's what we have now. I think our purpose
Well,
was.
that's just 17
It's, yeah.
facilities, there's 84
Oh, total machines.
machines,
Well,
I
each,
think.
each facility
93.
93.
by state
Oh,
law,
that's right, I figured out everybody gets a machine.
by state law, they can only have so many machines per establishment, so that sets a limit on it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see that. That was our original intent, start, to limit the number of establishments that have, as Karen has talked about several times. so,
Right.
yeah.
And then I believe you can restrict the number of machines at each establishment as well. So you, instead of 6, you could say 5 or 4 or whatever.
Well,
Pleasure.
We've always kept it at 6, I guess. I don't know.
Does the state regulate anything?
State regulates it at 6.
It's 6.
But you can tighten it.
Yeah. State regulates number of machines per establishment, isn't that correct?
Right.
I would prefer just to leave that alone myself. And that's where it is.
Nine of our 17 do have 6 seats.
9 of our 17 have 6 machines, okay. What's your pleasure? What do you want to do? I'm all for setting a number on the number of, a limit on the number of establishments, so we don't have to come in these up. You know, if somebody gives one up, then there's another one available for somebody else, which could happen at some point. I think there might be a couple of those come up too.
I kind of feel it's a good idea to have stated that they have to be in business for a year.
That's fine.
At least. I think that's a good idea also.
All right, I have no problem with that. That gets the new ones.
Right.
Just come in and.
You're right.
We've had a few of those too.
Yeah.
We already have some.
So
Yeah.
does grandfather anybody now though?
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's.
Because we just, didn't we just give one to the
Couple of-
restaurant down here that she just opened up? Because she's got a gaming license?
Yeah, that was granted.
Yeah.
The one, the Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't even know whether she's open now. It's been kind of hit and miss.
Well, it's like Tuesdays through,
Yeah.
Tuesday through Saturday.
yeah.
But I would prefer, I'm not looking to put anybody out of business with them.
But this is gonna require for you to walk in an establishment and look, right? To make sure that they're all legal on that.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on which of these limitations you're putting in. Right?
I guess I was thinking of just leaving the ones we already have alone, Dan.
Yeah.
Grandfather. I'm
Yeah.
not looking to change what we've already agreed to before. Because when we started, we were kind of foundering just a bit with, what to do, as most communities were. And my purpose is just to set a limit on the number of machines, or the number of establishments that have them. Because we still, I haven't gotten any new requests for quite some time, so.
So if you instituted the majority of those changes, and I'm not saying we make it that we just have them and just keep whatever we have, but how many of our present places would still be able to qualify? You said there were a couple of this.
I think you said 9 out of 17, didn't you, or something like that? Thought I heard.
For number of seats, so the ratio of 5 seats
Yeah.
to every one game, that might
But I'm
affect a
talking
few
about like,
others.
if they gotta be in business for 12 months, and they have to have 66% of their business has to be in something else. How many of the existing ones would qualify under the new ordinance?
Don't know. I guess I'm saying leave the existing ones alone.
Yeah, no, I understand that,
Okay.
but that goes toward whether you would set a limit on the number.
Well, it would be any new applications, if we decided to choose them, to go with
I'm
them.
saying if it's restrictive enough, you don't have to say, we can only have 7. If you say they gotta be in existence, I mean, we're basically controlling the market with with the ordinance the way it's gonna be. Which
Right.
I have no problem with.
Which, yeah,
Yeah, if you,
all the restrictions would do a limitation.
if you make 17 as the limited amount, and a new business comes in, and they are here for a year, and they want to get a gaming license, they cannot get a gaming license.
According to our ordinance.
According to the order,
unless we change.
unless we amend that. So
Or
that's-
unless somebody gives one up.
Or unless somebody gets one up. So that's what you're looking at. You put a moratorium on the amount of gaming here in the village.
Establishments.
Establishments, yes. And you're letting you all know that if a new business comes in, they can't get one unless, like you just said, they have to amend it or they take over it. So,
Right.
so just have to keep that in mind as we vote
Sure.
on this.
Sure, but let's say with the number of liquor licenses,
Right.
we have limits,
Right.
some limits there too. Does this fit the bill or not? We need to decide.
Well, I've expressed my opinion, I've always straight up with everything I'm gonna do. Everybody knows I'm against that because that limits a business coming into the village with the possibility that they wanna have a gaming license. So, I don't wanna stop any chance of progress coming into the village. I'm not saying that might happen, or it wouldn't happen, but, or it could happen, I should say. So, I don't have a problem with.
You don't want to set a limit on the number.
Yeah, I don't want to set a limit and put a moratorium, but I understand the need. Okay, I understand that. So that's my opinion.
Let's just, let's everybody feel. I mean,
Yeah.
gotta make a decision. Karen,
I'll make a motion
You've
to accept the ordinance
as presented.
as presented.
Is that with a limit or moratorium?
Yes.
So as written, I don't yet have a number in here on the number of
Well, he gave you a number.
establishments. So if it's 17, is that your
It's
motion?
17.
Yes.
Okay.
And the ordinance provides for grandfathering of those.
Grandfather.
And then would you also be using that
I'd like to
33%?
specify that.
And the 33%.
Yeah.
So the other 2/3 of their income has to be other than gambling.
Yeah.
So a third can be gambling, but they have to have 2/3 either be food, beverage, etc.
So you made the motion, right?
Yes.
So Dwayne, you're looking for a second, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
Dan will second. Okay, motion's made and seconded. And to be clear, it sets the number of establishments at 17. All those, you want to repeat those, Lincoln?
This would have the provision about,
Number of seats.
yeah, 12 months, have to be in
Have to be
business.
business for 12 months. This is for new ones.
Yeah. A ratio of 5 seats for every gaming terminal. 33% of total gross revenues, the video gaming cannot exceed 33% of total gross revenues generated by the establishment.
Let me ask one more question. If it's in the affirmative, we know obviously what will happen. If it's not in the affirmative, can we come back for saving part of it? Okay.
Yeah.
I would think
Have a
so.
different motion.
Yeah. Okay, so motion was made and seconded to go with what Lincoln has told us. And this is with the understanding with that every businesses in business now are grandfathered. Okay, we're not setting new limits on somebody that's already has a license.
So as written, I don't spell that out. I would like to make that change if the motion is that that's
To
what
include
it
the
is. To
change.
include, I can amend that in the ordinance.
And
Just spell it out.
And then to clarify, yours would be to the extent that they maintain a license, that they have a license in effect currently, and for the duration that they maintain that license, they're exempt from those provisions.
Those
The
provisions.
33%, the 12 months, the,
And, yeah, and the 5 seats.
and the 5 seats.
Yes.
So the motion would include that. Lincoln
What
can
he
add that.
just said.
Twirl it,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Is that okay with the second? Where was the second?
Oh,
Dan.
Dan, second.
Yeah. Okay, Where are we then? We've got a motion and second, we've got discussion. Anybody else want to say anything? Hearing none, we should call for the roll call vote, please. Michelle?
Doug Humphrey,
No.
Dan Verbeck,
Yes.
Jody Lee,
Yes.
Karen Wilson,
Yes.
Bruce Dickel.
No.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Motion carried by a 4-2 vote, is that right? Did I count right? Okay, that is ordinance 1801, so ordinance 1801 has passed, and we can move on, okay? We've talked about that a long, long time, and if something happens, it can be amended.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item 9, consideration of an ordinance 1802 to amend the village code concerning trustee assignments. What did I do with mine? There it is. Paul, do you have a copy of that, don't you? Those trustee assignments, okay, we made one amendment from the first time. Dan, your Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
That's what we talked about. And Jody will then be on the license and ordinance as chairman. Questions, discussion about them? If they're okay, we can move on and a motion to,
Mayor, I have an ordinance that, it's pretty short and sweet, but would repeal the Economic Development Committee that is in our code, which is, that's the only committee
Yeah.
of these groups that is showing up in the code right now. So we would take that out, and then we would just have standing committees as you
As
appoint
needed.
people.
Okay.
And that's what this ordinance would do.
Yeah.
And so it just has, you would make assignments with the advice and consent of the council, and they would make rules in their own committees that
Yeah.
comply with the Open Meetings Act and everything else.
we did that with the Economic Development Committee, back when we were kind of just getting started with that stuff, as everybody was. That committee actually is everybody. And we're all involved in that, we're all making decisions of that, so I felt that was just one we don't really need to have in the ordinance. So, is that okay with everybody? Are there any large objections to this ordinance to do it that way?
No, I don't.
So this, Lincoln, would be ordinance 1802?
Yes.
Okay, if the assignments are okay, would there be a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1802.
Second it.
Second, motion made and seconded to approve ordinance 1802. Shall roll call, Michelle?
Excuse me. Dan Verbeck,
Yeah.
Jody Lee,
Yes.
Karen Wilson,
Yes.
Bruce Dickel.
Yes.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Motion carried. 1802 is adopted. And ordinance 1803 is to approve a lease with QCOM upstairs. We already approved the contract with QCOM back in April. Steve?
April 7th,
April
the council approved the mayor executing the agreement on
Yeah.
behalf of the council.
So this just puts it in an ordinance form.
Yeah, this is to formalize it, so I have an ordinance that would authorize the execution of a lease with QCOM, which I drafted up a lease here. So that would have to then go to QCOM for their approval, but the ordinance says in substantially this form, so if there were a few minor tweaks or changes, I think that would be okay, if that's okay with all of you.
Well, it's the lease.
Yeah.
The lease.
Right, and QCOM did approve it previously based on that April 7th.
Mhm.
They approved it on the 9th.
Okay. So would there be a motion to approve ordinance or disapprove the lease with QCOM, ordinance 1803?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second?
There's a second, motion made and seconded to adopt ordinance 1803, lease with QCOM. Well, we have a roll call vote, please.
Jody Lee,
Yes.
Karen Wilson,
Yes.
Bruce Dickel.
Yes.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck.
Yeah.
Motion carried. We'll get that signed when it's, you got it all written up, we'll get that signed soon, and we'll move on. Okay. Same kind of thing for the lease with Edwards Creative. We worked out a lease with them, which is actually much to our benefit, which is what we wanted to do with the lease. It sets the standards. I'm hoping you all remember that from April. I think they're very good. And Steve worked out a good contract. They're happy with it, and I think we can be happy with it and move on. So will there be any other discussion about the ordinance 1804?
The only
Oh, sorry.
caveat I've got on this, I tried to find what we did before, and we had prepared a resolution, so I used the same resolution this would be a resolution rather than ordinance, if that's okay, and the agreement is, I believe, what we had prior, so it's an extension.
So this,
prior.
would this be a resolution number or ordinance number?
This one's a resolution to adopt the lease and
The lease with Edwards.
substantially the same form again as what I've done on it.
That'll change our numbering system.
And all the changes that were in that were agreed
It
to,
includes
that are
everything.
incorporated into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said it was
Well-
substantially the same, and
I'm saying substantially the same as what I have attached.
Okay.
So, right,
Yeah.
I tried to incorporate
Yeah.
what was there before
Yeah.
with the changes.
So it authorizes me, I assume, to sign the lease agreement with them as previously discussed and as we've done before. Okay. So this is a resolution, not an ordinance. True? Do you have a resolution
I
number?
do not.
What do we do now,
Want to
Steve?
call it an ordinance?
Yeah, let's call it an ordinance. That's what we have on here, so. So we did the ordinance for the other, we assumed, and Jody did, or, Michelle did too, that we'll pass this as an ordinance. That'll keep it straight too, if somebody looks up the minutes from someplace, make sure that the numbers will be in order, right? Okay. Just making, fixing that up, we'll get it. Okay, would there be a motion to approve the lease with Edwards Creative as presented?
I'll make the motion to approve the lease
Or-
with Ed.
Yeah, Ordinance 1804, I'm sorry.
Yeah, to approve it, ordinance 1804, approving the lease with Edwards Creative.
It will be by resolution, not by
Oh.
ordinance.
Yeah, we already started that.
But he's got it written as an ordinance. He just changed it.
I'll change it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's what
I
I did.
tuned out.
We're gonna have trouble with the numbers.
One of us
so
was
we'll just
like
call-
two
we'll call it an ordinance.
I don't know who it was.
We'll keep it that way, so we're gonna.
We're gonna go back to ordinance 1804.
Spreadsheet, but that's.
Since it's written that way on the agenda, so we'll do it that way. Okay, where are we? Was a motion made?
Yeah.
To adopt ordinance 1804? Is there a second? I missed.
I'll second.
Jody seconded, okay. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Karen Wilson.
Yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck.
Yeah.
Jody Lee.
Yes.
Motion carried. We'll get that signed and a little paperwork taken care of. Item 13, consideration, wait a minute, where are we?
12.
I'm sorry, it's number 12. I already circled it, that's why I got ahead of myself. Consideration and passage of the FY '26 appropriation ordinance number 1805. Steve?
Yeah, and this has been on file since the last council meeting later in that week. We're 3 weeks between, so it's been online for roughly 2 weeks, maybe a couple of days.
Yeah.
The two corrections that I know of, Bruce, you caught the one on the line item that should have been 1,500. That's on page 2. Let's see. Page 2, section 4, other expenses towards the top should read 1,500. And the other is, as a result of the police committee meeting last week, there would be a $5,000 slid from, this is on page 2, halfway through the page, slid from transfer to payroll, $5,000 reduced there, and added into the equipment on that. That one does not impact the total. The other would be a $13,500 adjustment to the general fund and to the total.
And how does this affect the closed session that we're going into?
Not at all, because it's within that. So this would be the spending authority that would cover any decision made in closed session.
Okay.
So that's what your committee came up with, Karen, to make that transfer.
Right,
Yeah.
but we have another subject.
Oh, I know that, yeah.
In
yeah,
closed
yeah,
session.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Any other discussion about the budget? We've done it.
So I need a motion to amend those two items, Steve.
Well, the motion would be to approve it in whatever language you want. And those would be two corrections or two changes that I would suggest from the draft that you have.
I'll make a motion that we advance ordinance, yeah, it's not-
1805?
What's the ordinance number?
1805.
1805, advance 1805 with the following corrections, that the line item for mayor's office expenses is $1,500, vice $15,000. That the,
Make sure you say that never was $15,000.
Yeah.
or words to that effect. And that the police department, personnel services, line 1, transfer to payroll will be reduced by $5,000, and the contractual services portion, part 2, third line down, maintenance equipment would be plussed up by $5,000. And that would be the motion with all the changes.
Okay, motion's made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion made and second to adopt that FY '26 appropriations ordinance,
There it
number
is.
1805. Any other questions or discussion? Have a roll call, please. Michelle?
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck.
Yeah.
Jody Lee.
Yes.
Karen Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, we're in business. We got a budget for the year. All set. Okay, now the next item, item 13. Kevin, you want to talk to this or anything? It's about the purchase of the Dodge truck, which we talked about before.
Yep, we're replacing a 2013 Ford utility van. We're looking it's got some age to it and some miles, and a pickup truck would give us more options. And that, the van being closed up, we had trouble hauling pumps and different things, so it would just be a better fit for us. You'll notice on my, everybody has the sheet. The highlighted one is actually a 1-ton pickup. The 2500 is a 3/4 ton, and there was only $1,000 price difference to get a heavier truck, so I'm requesting that purchase.
And we've got proposals.
Yep, yeah, those are all listed there. That was, Dodge Kimberly was the cheapest amongst all those. We did check with Erickson's also. So,
Dodge Kimberly, okay.
and we purchased a Dodge, I think it might have been last year or the year before, so.
Okay.
Let's see if we work out.
You pretty all set with the equipment then, with the vehicles?
Yeah, we should be good unless when the dump trucks maybe get transferred here at some point, but other than that,
Yeah.
knock on wood, we should be.
Parts of it.
Hope all of you caught what Steve said about kind of setting some money in the budget for a couple of years when we do need another garbage truck. So we're trying to get a little bit ahead of the game. But we're going to need a garbage truck at some point. There's a lot of tough usage. Dan would know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Comments, questions, anybody?
Then you got one that you're replacing one, correct?
Yes.
So that one, everybody should know will go to a surplus for sale
Yep.
sometime down the
Like
road.
we always do. Yep.
We just don't set it out there and let it
No.
rust.
No, we'll move it right away.
That's right.
Okay. Would there be a motion to make that purchase or
I'll
not?
make a motion.
Sharon, you department chair?
For purchasing a 2025 Dodge 3500 pickup for $46,879.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to make that purchase. Any other discussion? Hearing none, to make that purchase, we should have a roll call, please, Michelle.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck.
Yeah.
Jody Lee.
Yes.
Karen Wilson.
Yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Motion carried. Let us know what you do with the other truck, I mean, where it sells. Just bring-
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, item 14 is consideration of a restaurant license. As most of you probably already know, the Cactus business, which was previously KFC, has closed. I thought they had pretty good food. I don't know. They had some problems over the years. Anyway, a new occupant is there for Milan Masala Cantina for that building. They'd like a restaurant license. They've been checked out. I just don't have a copy of the
Application?
request for that
Police
right now.
report.
Pardon? With the request that they fill out. It's just not here right now. So unless there's some question about that, if you would want to, they've been all checked out. Everything's good for them, give us another choice. As I understand, it's going to be Indian food. Have you heard that? Spicy Indian food? Is that what it is, Gene? You're hoping?
Well, I
You
don't
can have
think
my
masala is Mexican.
I've had some. Anyway, that's what it's to be. And is there a problem with this? Otherwise, a motion to approve that restaurant license, and I'll sign
I'll
it.
make a motion to approve that
Okay.
license.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve that restaurant license. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Next
Motion
is a
carried.
gaming license for it.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right, those are all the regular agenda items. Just go to committee reports. Dan?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
I got nothing.
Jody?
For once.
Anything? Okay, Karen? Nothing
I'm
tonight?
saving up.
Nothing here.
Bruce? Dan? You got that? Okay, okay. Doug?
I guess with all the new equipment, and we have had a lot of new equipment, but it'd probably be a good idea if people went through the pile of bills every month and they see all the maintenance, some of the maintenance that gets done. Number one, they wouldn't have too much question about the O&M because they'd see it. But now as we have new equipment, if we could possibly, maybe a year from now, we could say this is roughly what we saved by rotating our equipment properly and whatever, just so we have a little bit more ammunition when it comes time every year for.
Well, you do gain the warranties out of new.
Yeah,
vehicles.
yeah.
So, I mean, you got factory warranty on the pickups for 3 years,
Yeah.
I believe. The bigger trucks aren't as much, garbage
Yeah.
truck isn't as much.
Anyway, that's just something for down the
Yeah.
road. That's all I have.
That's a good point, because equipment doesn't last forever. And I think we take very good care of it. We've built maintenance sheds to keep it inside. Most of our equipment, as a matter of fact, is kept inside, didn't it? I think, as far as I can see, and so we do. And people say, well, didn't you maintain it? And that's why it's wearing out. Everything wears out. It's like the sewer treatment plant. One question came up at a meeting sometime about, haven't you kept it up? Why do we need a big one now? It's because we have kept it up way past its expected life. And that's why we're having to bite the bullet and spend a whole lot of money on a wastewater treatment plant, which other towns have done also. Rock Island went through a huge one a while back. Other communities around are doing the same thing.
East Moline has to.
Yeah, and we're not doing it on a whim.
Nope.
We're doing it because EPA says we will. If we get out of compliance and don't take the proper things out of our sewage, we'll be, I think, first of all, they're fined. And then after that, they take over and run it. And they don't have any, we wouldn't have any choice about running it or anything about the charges. So this is a necessity. We have to do it. So whatever we have to do to charge for water and sewer, it's a sewer plant, but it's also affected by the water usage too. So anyway, that's my spiel for that tonight. So okay, we run over committee reports. And citizens' opportunity to address the board. Anybody want to bring anything up tonight to us? Okay, I want to thank all of you for coming. Hearing none of those, we are going to go, do we need to close session? Steve?
That is up to the council. I think that there's on there to give you a chance to, if you'd like.
What not?
The closed session. It's to review wage adjustment for one class of employees.
Yes, we would like
Yes,
to.
yes. We still want to go into closed session.
Closed session?
Yes.
So we do want to adjourn this portion of the meeting.
We will close,
Yeah.
we will go into closed session. It takes a motion and a second and a roll call vote.
I make a motion that we go, that we enter into closed session.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to go into closed session to address one item, actually. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
And for the public, we will reconvene at the end of the closed session. The council may or may not take action on an open session before the meeting is formally adjourned.